Hello, welcome to us, Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. Bit of an odd video today. Joined by the Twitch chat. Shout out to the Twitch chat. Bit of an odd video today. And as you'll have seen from the thumbnail and also the title, we're in this odd space where it seems Games Workshop are giving massive quantities of Scaventide whole boxes away for free. Now, we're all long time, well, some of us might be new. If you're a new Warhammer and Games Workshop fan, it's safe to say that they're not what we would describe as generous as a company. They are more on the frugal side. They're very British. Some would even describe them as cheap, miserly, and also incredibly rich, making loads of money. In fact, making so much money that very recently their CEO awarded themselves such a huge pay rise that the stockholders and shareholders, womp, don't care about them, were able to vote. They voted against it. 20% of the people were like, this is an outrageous amount of money you're giving yourself. They also doubled the dividends they gave out to shareholders last year. Doubled. They didn't actually increase wages to match inflation, just as an FYI. They were actually like something like 7% behind. In before someone says, but they did give a bonus out. That bonus still didn't match inflation. And also, you can't put bonus money down on applications for rent and or being able to put down on a mortgage. So those are bad. That's a bad thing that happened, and you're wrong. However, I'm not here today to talk about, wages and stuff. That would be silly, right? I'm not here for that. And instead, I'm talking about specifically the Scaventide box. So what the f am I talking about? It's a great question, right? A great question. Let's get into it, because they're not normally very positive. So let's go. So what happened? Last week, there was an event in Australia called the Oceanic Champions Circuit. The Oceanic Champions Circuit. Now, unfortunately, this wasn't a particularly big event with only 12 people. However, as you can see, and I'll read it out, massive prizing news for the Oceanic Champions of Warhammer. Massive thanks to the Games Workshop team that we work so closely with. Every single player in attendance who plays every round, okay, so if you get a headache, go around round 5, you suck, will receive a Scaventide box. In fact, they actually ended up having so few people, they only had to play 4 rounds, which is a bit of a bonus. Edit. Players must play every round to be eligible for a Scaventide box. Okay, so they gave away 12 Scaventide boxes to 12 players who played at the event. Pretty good. Now, importantly, you need to remember that in Australia, the prices are artificially high in Australia. If you go across the exchange rate, if the exchange rate being equal, people in Australia pay more for their Games Workshop products than people do in other countries. New Zealand pay even more money. So giving that away is pretty cool. And let's talk about this. Games Workshop giving away their entire launch box is really cool to, this event. I'm not really sure why. I'm sure we'd all love to attend an event and get a £140, £150 box just for attending the event. That would be insane. That would be insane. I don't really understand the economics of that. Maybe if you're an economics professor, you could explain it to me. But I feel like giving away a box for a game that you paid less for the ticket price than the box is worth, it eventually feels like you're probably losing money and is a mistake. It doesn't feel like something that Games Workshop would do. Okay? So it doesn't feel like it. And I just thought, you know what? That's a really odd little thing. I heard about it last week. It was in Australia. I got some friends who attended the event. They messaged me and they said, Rob, this is odd. I was like, that is odd. But I didn't really think anything more about it, because why would you? I was like, 12 boxes, whatever. Like the tournament organizer gets on really well with them. That's not a stress. That's not a problem. Well, okay. Then this news dropped today, which is pretty wild. And we're going to go into it right now. We're going to listen to AOS Coach right now. And he is running an event called the Sydney GT with 129 players. And as I understand it, the ticket price for the Sydney GT was 85 Australian dollars. And if you were to pick up the Scaventide box in Australia, it's 405 Australian dollars. So there's a difference between those two, okay? And so they've got 129 players attending. And I think you can guess where this is already going, but... Oh, hold on.
Listed you tonight, and I have the most craziest news for you. You, thanks to Games Workshop, will be getting each a box of Scaventide. That's right. Everybody who attends Sydney GT is getting a Scaventide box. thanks to Games Workshop, in addition to your players pack, so your Pro Acryl paint, your objective markers, and everything else that's in the box. So thank you, Games Workshop, for supporting Sydney GT. It's our 5th birthday.
Congratulations to Coach and also the Sydney GT and the whole Australian community. So that's 129 boxes of Scaventide that they're giving away. Now, obviously, if you look at a retail price, it's like 60,000 Australian dollars. But obviously, Games Workshop, it doesn't cost them that. But I still think it probably costs them some amount of money to make 130 boxes of Scaventide. I don't know what it is. And thank you, Mike. Thanks for resubscribing. So then I put myself in this headspace and I'm like, oh, what the living fuck is going on? And so me and the chat have streamed about it for a while. And if I can't tell you, I don't know. Now, a couple of things. Number one, and maybe if I was that type of YouTuber, I'd do this face. And I'd be like, oh my God, Scaventide, Age of Sigmar 4 dying, question mark? Okay, let's just get this out of the way. Let's just get this out of the way, right? I personally think Age of Sigmar is in a really healthy space. I do a stat center every Monday. There's loads of people attending events. I make content about it and lots of people watch my videos. Might just because I'm incredibly charming, but also it's probably because people want to know about Age of Sigmar news, right? Which is fine. That's a very fair and healthy thing to say. So I think that's what it is. I've looked at other people in my sphere who create content about Age of Sigmar. Some of the stuff is doing okay. Some of it's not doing great. But generally, people seem to be pretty hype on Age of Sigmar. There's like 200,000 people in the Age of Sigmar Reddit. It does seem like new people are attending events. I myself have ran 7 or 8 events over the past couple of months with 140, 160 people having attended those events over that time period. So I know people are playing. I played in events myself, right? So I know for a fact that it's at least popular, or maybe it's just as popular as it was. During Age of Sigmar 3, the growth of the game was absolutely massive. So do I think Age of Sigmar is dying? No. And do I think it's going to die? Also no. But on the back of the PR disaster that is locking the rules for Skaven and many other armies behind paywalls that they're going to do in the future, which has felt like a PR disaster. People have not responded well in the community, as I don't think they should. Also, I think it's literally the opposite of what this is. Giving away 130 boxes of Scaventide, and it feels like that's going to cost you more money than just letting people peruse rules for free and then buy minis, because no one now can ever get the crazy idea in their head and say, I wonder if I should run 10 Doom Wheels. They can now no longer look on the app and look up 10 Doom Wheels and see what they do, and then decide they're going to buy 10 Doom Wheels. Also, the app doesn't have on every, if you look at the Doom Wheel page, it doesn't have a link that takes you directly to the web store to buy Doom Wheels, which is incredibly bad marketing. But we don't need to talk about that today, or the fact that they don't know how to make money. That's fine. Tightest model for Space Marine 2, anybody? We could get one. Don't worry about it. Not important today. That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about, the fact is they're giving away all of these boxes. Now, number one is Age of Sigmar dying? No. Number 2, they're giving away boxes. Maybe they just absolutely love this specific Age of Sigmar community, which is fair. The Australians are great. But I guess the rest of us will get a little bit pissy about having bought your Scaventide box. I personally, if I'd bought my Scaventide box for $405 or whatever it cost, and then 8 to 10 weeks later was just giving it free at a GT, I'd be like, this is cool that I got it, but also, does that mean it's not that valuable? Why did I spend all that money a month ago? Not looking at a gift horse in the mouth, but I feel like this is a PR disaster for the company. Feels like it's a PR bonus, sure. 130 people are going to be stoked. And maybe, and if you are one of those people, leave it in the comments below. You're going to be stoked that Games Workshop just gave away a box of minis to people. And maybe you'll be someone who gets a box of minis, which would be super sweet and fun and cool, right? But also, I feel like they've invalidated the cost of it. It makes me feel definitely like they overproduced it. Makes me feel like when they overproduced it, then they know they didn't have to sell it as much, so it feels massively marked up. For a company that puts prices up 5% every year because we need to do this to give away so much product and be so wasteful, seems odd. And also for it to happen only 10 weeks after launch, instead of leaving it on shelves to see who'll pick it up, maybe even just mark it as some percentage off to try to encourage new people, give it away to schools. That feels like a good shout. Like, again, love to the attendees of the Sydney GT, yeah? But you probably already got all the Warhammer you need. Don't at me. I don't need you to tell me. I know that's true. If you are looking at me and being like, I'm going to write an angry comment, go into your little cupboard where you keep those minis and grab all those grey minis out, because I know they're in there, so you shut up, right? You could have given away to schools and encouraged more people to, like kids or underprivileged people. There's a bunch of other ways that they could have been more productive with this and it been a double PR win. So I don't really know what the situation is there. And it feels like a bit of a PR disaster because obviously in this video, I don't think Age of Sigmar is doing badly, but I think a lot of people will run with the idea that it is doing badly. Like, I think a lot of people will feel, if you're just like, that Scaventide must have sold like absolute garbage, and so you're not going to be overly excited about maybe investing in it. Like, why would you go and pick up a Scaventide box now that you're planning on getting at the end of the month? Because the event that you're attending soon might just get a random 130 boxes knocking around. There are so many boxes of Scaventide knocking around at that event that I reckon some people are just going to be giving them to their mates for free. So it kind of feels like it devalues the product. For a product that intentionally has a really high value point, feels weird. Feels like a bit of a PR disaster, especially when the drama channels get involved. And once the drama channels get involved, which I don't consider myself to be, I'm trying to be really like level about this. Those drama channels are going to be like, what the fuck, right? And then you're going to get the channels that are like Age of Shitmar and all that other nonsense, which is obviously really silly. So this is a really weird one. Probably the most easy answer, the most obvious answer. It seems to only be happening in Australia at the moment. Looking at you, America. Keep your eyes on the next American event to see if it happens there. Probably buy yourself a speculative ticket. See when the refund price is on the next like American event. Buy a ticket. Just, you know, wait a week before like the deadline day, and then, you know, refund the ticket if you need to. But there might be a Scaventide box going, so speculatively get some tickets now. The thing that is the thing to me that could happen is people will think that it's going to be people aren't going to be excited to go buy, I think, and I think that's going to be a little bit of a disaster. I think, but I'd love to know what you all think. The chat have had some thoughts. Oh yeah, said the most obvious mistake is that Australia, they were like, send them 600 boxes, and someone typed 6,000 boxes. That's the most obvious mistake, right? You know, they forgot to add a zero. I guess it's my time to ask you, if you're, wherever you are based in the world, got an international audience, let me know how the box has been selling in your local community. I picked up a box. I split my box with my friend Oscar. I got the book, which was cool. I didn't get a Spearhead thing. Spearhead isn't real. And then I built up my Stormcast Eternals, which I think is cool. So let me know what you think. I'm interested to know. It's pretty interesting. And congratulations, of course, always to those players getting a bunch of content for free. Getting a free box of models out of Games Workshop is rarer than rocking horse shit. It's so rare. This is like a unicorn riding along, right? Riding along. So you'll have to let me know what you think. Or do you think Games Workshop are going to try to flood the market with free Scaventide boxes? The reason is it's got inside of it the Spearhead book and the Spearhead board. And maybe they are just trying to flood local gaming stores, local communities with Scaventide boxes. But why then wouldn't they give those boxes to those local game stores? It feels like a really odd distribution method. Anyway, I'm really interested to know what you think. Let me know. And thanks for watching my video. Appreciate it. Thanks. See you soon. Bye.